Okay, so this is like my sixth or seventh attempt at making this video, simply because I don't want to feel that I don't want to go back and edit all of this stuff. But today, second post for the day, probably the last one for the week, so I don't want to get too, I don't want to crowd your news feeds with these. But I want to discuss DOMA and Prop 8 because I feel like those are very pertinent issues to a lot of my friends and a lot of people around. I'm not going to argue the sides of it, whether it's right or wrong or not. There's lawyers for that. I want to be a lawyer someday, but not one right now. I'm not even close. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything, and I'm not going to, get into the right and wrongs of it. I'm just going to tell you how. I'll tell you my prediction for how I think the Supreme Court's going to rule on this issue. I think that as far as DOMA goes, which is the United States definition of marriage being man and a woman, the actual court case, if you care, is United States v. Windsor. Um, I believe that they're going to deem this unconstitutional. Um, Basically, all that means, it doesn't mean that marriage everywhere for gays is all of a sudden legal. It just means that in the states that have decided that gay marriage is legal, they will receive federal benefits. It doesn't mean that every single state in the United States of America is going to all of a sudden receive gay marriage benefits. But if a state has already, such as Massachusetts, if a state has already decided that gay marriage is legal, they now receive federal benefits. That's all it means. That's as far reaching as it goes. I believe that the United States court will determine it's unconstitutional, and all that will mean is that states that already believe, or states that do eventually create laws saying that gay marriage is legal, will receive the benefits. That's it. That's all I believe is going to go on with DOMA. For California's ban on same-sex marriage, if you care, it's Hollingsworth versus Perry. I believe I know after listening to the transcripts and listening to the recordings of the Supreme Court that they're irritated that this even came to them. It starts with California's ban on same-sex marriage, so why is it sitting in front of the federal government? It should be a state issue. It's a state government issue. I agree with them. I don't think that there's any standing for it to be in front of the federal court, but it made it there, so they decided to hear it. The federal court decided to hear it, so I mean, obviously, they don't whatever they brought it upon themselves, I guess. I do believe the Supreme Court's going to go 5-4 on this, like usual. 5 of them are going to feel one way, 4 of them are going to feel the other way. I believe that they're neither going to uphold Prop 8 or strike down Prop 8. I think that they're going to decide that Prop 8 lacks standing for appeal. Like I said, that they believe that it shouldn't have made it to the Supreme Court anyways, and that they were kind of, by hearing the case, hoping that they would get some knowledge from it that they just weren't seeing from face value. But I just believe that they're going to decide that there's no standing to appeal, which would pretty much mean that California, because I mean the reason I got appealed to the Supreme Court was because Prop 8 did get struck down, and so the supporters of Prop 8 then appealed to the federal government. Anyways, I think they're going to decide that California is not entitled to withdraw rights to same-sex marriage, only because the California Supreme Court has already made its decision. If the California Supreme Court decided that gay marriage should be illegal, I'm sure the Supreme Court would say, okay, well, California Supreme Court decided. Basically, I feel like the Supreme Court of the United States is going to uphold whatever the California Supreme Court decided on this issue, which means under this rationale, I'm reading this from a New York Times article just to give everyone, a better diction to understand this. It says, under this rationale used by the Federal Appeals in Court in San Francisco to strike down Proposition 8, California would allow same-sex marriages, but bans in other states would survive. Basically meaning that after all this is done, everyone's done duking it out, playing their wars and everything, and I think that the Supreme Court's going to decide that DOMA is unconstitutional and is going to say, you know what, this is the state's decision. If the states want gay marriage, give them gay marriage. If they don't want it, if they vote against it, we're not going to do anything about it. As far as Prop 8 goes, I think they're going to decide that, since it only pertains to California, that this is a California issue. Whatever the California Supreme Court decides, they're going to stick with that. That's what I think is going to happen. That's my prediction. I mean, I hope I'm right, but if I'm wrong, hey, it's a learning lesson. I'm just trying to get my opinion out there so maybe people can kind of understand a little bit better what's going on with both of these issues. Again, if you want to discuss this issue with me, feel free to inbox me. Kind of trying to keep it off comments. I don't want these videos to get too crowded with comments, but I'm definitely down to discuss these, and I enjoy seeing other points of view. And even if it's not in line with my own, I enjoy knowing both sides of it and knowing why both sides believe what they believe. So definitely You know, if you want to inbox me, let me know. Like usual, let me know if it's, you know, even worth posting these videos. I don't want to post them for no reason. So if you actually watch these, please let me know. I know they're a little lengthy. I'm trying to keep them under 5 minutes. So yeah.